Hello everyone, this is Pierre, the founder of OceanFact. Today I wanted to take a few minutes to explain my workflow, how I am preparing Instagram posts and what process I use to make the writing of those posts efficient. So on the blog, I already talked about EverNote, which is a note-taking app available multi-platform, so that it syncs between your computer and your browser and your phone. EverNote is a way to gather pieces of information that you might need later. I use it daily in my work to take notes from scientific literature that I will use later in the scientific writing when I need to write a manuscript. I also use it for OceanFact when I'm writing blog posts or when I need to gather ideas, so that everything is gathered in one place and safe in the cloud. If you want to work efficiently, EverNote is a great tool. It's not necessarily the tool you want to use or you have to use, but you need to find a tool that has at least three main features. It needs to be able to gather all the pieces of information in one place according to large topics. So that's what is done with a notebook. A notebook is simply a binder. So for example, if you take a physical binder or a folder, you would have your folder for topics about, fish, and inside this folder you would have all your articles, all your notes about fish. You can even stack them together in even larger categories to categorize and classify things nicely. So for example, I have a stack for my PhD, a stack for OceanFact. This is the first way of classifying notes in EverNote. The problem with notebooks is that if a note is inside a notebook, it's only inside this notebook. So you can't really search across notebooks. There is a way to search across notebooks. It's called tags. Tags works the same way as hashtags. It's simply a keyword that you can paste attached to each note, no matter where they are, in which notebook they are, to retrieve pieces of information on certain topics. So for example, if I take this note, this is an Instagram post about the polar bear. I have a tag polar bear here. So if I search for pieces of information on the polar bear across all my notes, so notes from scientific literature, notes from blog posts on OceanFact or whatever, I just search for polar bear and it will retrieve all the notes I have on that topic. You can use multiple tags to make your search even more powerful. So for example, I could search for all my notes that talks about the polar bear, but also talk about food web. So polar bear as a predator. And then it will retrieve all the pieces of information. I can also search with tags within a notebook. It's really powerful. That means you will never lose a piece of information compared to if you take notes on a piece of paper or if you take notes inside a Google Doc like we used to do. The information will still be there, but it will be very difficult to find what you would need. Because for example, if you would use you would use a word in a note, like you would mention the polar bear in a note, but not really talk about the polar bear in that note, just use it as an example. Maybe you would not like to gather that note itself. But if it's not classified, you will just gather everything, and EverNote makes it so much easier to gather exactly what you need. The last feature that you need for a good note-taking software is the ability to make templates. So a template is a model that you use regularly, and it helps you not start from scratch. So for example, if I'm preparing an Instagram post, I would have a title. So this is an Instagram post about the polar bear. I would need a title, I would need a fact, I would need credits, a picture, and I would need, for example, hashtags. So each time I want to prepare a new Instagram post, I don't have to think. I know exactly what I need because I listed in my template all the different sections that I need to fill in. So for example, this would be my template. So template IG post. I can I duplicate that note. It will make a copy with what I filled in before. And then I just have to add a title. How are polar bears hunting, etc., etc., etc. And I don't have to start from scratch. I can add more information, more sections. I will show you the templates I use. Or you can save that note as a template here and access it from a template gallery. So each time I open a new note, I go to my template gallery and I simply apply a template. So this, for example, is the template I use for Instagram posts, and it contains information. I made it user friendly so that other people can use it and prepare Instagram posts. The different pieces of information I need to gather, how I'm gonna classify the notes with tags and which notebooks, the different tools I might need, and then the post itself with information I need. So when I'm gonna publish it, what picture I use, if it's related to a blog post, and the post with the formatting itself. I use placeholders, so it's basically telling me that okay, here is gonna be where I will paste my fact or fill the template with the fact, the title, for example, and I use a second template that I named data table. It's basically a place where I gather everything that I will need to create, to prepare and format this Instagram post. So it's basically the same thing but more detailed. So for example, the different placeholders, information about those, title, unformatted, formatted, etc., the different hashtags I'm going to use, and it makes the process so much easier because I don't have to start from scratch. Once everything is classified, I can search, for example, search notes, add a search option. I'm gonna search for tags. I need to classify this even more, but for example, I want tags about notes about gastropoda. I add this to my search, so it's gonna search at all my notes with the tag gastropoda, and here you go. These are all the Instagram posts that talks about a gastropod. You can use it for taking notes from scientific literature. I'm still preparing this and working on this, but for example, this is the template I made it look nice with pictures to separate the different sections, and then I can gather what I need here in the template. This is it for today. In another video, we will see how I use this template live to prepare Instagram blog post, where I gather, where I take my information from, and how I format things and publish things. See you in the next video.